Or Mark Thiessen, who's a Fox News contributor, former chief presidential speechwriter for President George W. Bush. Mark, good to see you. So what's the lesson from these polls?
Good to see you, Megan. Well, the number one lesson is debates matter. I mean, a good debate performance can take someone from the back of the pack to the front of the pack pretty much overnight, and especially even in these states like Iowa and New Hampshire, where voters have unprecedented exposure to these candidates. And then the second lesson is that this race is still incredibly fluid. I mean, if you think back, Megan, at this time in the 2012 election, in August 2011, Rick Perry was at 18% in New Hampshire, which is exactly where Donald Trump is today, and he was at 29% in Iowa, which is about 12 points ahead of where Donald Trump is. And he didn't end up being the Republican nominee, and the reason for that was his debate performances. It is debate performances. So a debate can take a front runner and turn him into an also-ran, and it could take an also-ran and turn him into a front runner, which is what we're seeing with some of these candidates who are being dismissed as also-rans, who are now starting to move up in the pack.
Like the mafia, who benefited? Who benefited the most?
Well, in different states, it was different people. I mean, in Iowa, it was clearly Ben Carson benefited. He was seen in the Suffolk poll. His closing statement about brain surgery was the most memorable moment, and he's moved up into fourth place. Marco Rubio definitely benefited. He's up in third, and Carly Fiorina has moved into fifth place in both New Hampshire and Iowa, which is great. She went from the 5 p.m. debate.
Carly Fiorina, she's seen a huge jump.
Yeah, she's seen an absolutely huge jump. And then in New Hampshire, Kasich has benefited, and Ted Cruz has benefited. They've both moved up in the pack. And Bush and Walker, they lost a little bit of ground, but they're still where they need to be.
Bush went from third place to seventh.
Yeah, well, in Iowa, but he's still second in New Hampshire. Walker's still second in Iowa, though they've lost a little bit of ground. But they both, and Walker dropped dramatically in New Hampshire. So they both lost some ground in the states. But in the states where they really need to win, Walker needs to win Iowa. Bush needs to win New Hampshire. They're still in second place and in striking distance.
How about Donald Trump?
Yeah. Donald Trump was really hurt by these debates. I mean, he said the last pre-debate poll in Iowa had him at 31%. He's now at 16.6. That's almost cut in half. And in New Hampshire, he was at 32%, and he's now at 18%. So he's lost some ground. But the worst numbers for him in these polls are the unfavorables. He's the third highest unfavorable in Iowa at 37%. In New Hampshire, he's got the highest unfavorables of all at 46%. So that means there's a ceiling there for him, and it's an opportunity for some of these other candidates to catch up to him.
Who are the others with the big unfavorables?
Christie and Paul in both states have the highest unfavorables behind Donald Trump, and Trump Trump is the highest of all of them.
So any news about Rand Paul seems to have dwindled in these polls, at least on first blush. Is somebody taking from him? I mean, is somebody giving his support to somebody else? Are voters moving from one to another?
He's clearly, it's hard to tell who moved from who to who, but clearly Carly Fiorina has moved up ahead of several of the candidates. She's moved up ahead of Paul, ahead of Christie, ahead of some of these other candidates, and she gained the most out of all of this, because remember, she was on the undercard in that debate, and she was seen by everybody as now being in the main event next time. And you know, it was funny because in that debate, in that 5 p.m. debate, she took a shot at Donald Trump, but he wasn't on the stage to respond. The next time around, he's going to be on the stage to respond, so she's going to get a shot at the front runners next time, and that could only help her more.
Mark, great to see you.